All right, welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us this evening for our virtual reading celebrating the latest issue of Yellow Arrow Journal. I'm Annie Marhefka with Yellow Arrow Publishing. Um, we're so excited to have so many of our talented contributors from this issue here reading tonight. I think this might be close to a record number of folks who are able to join us, which is really fantastic. Um, and also Heather Brown Barrett, who was our guest editor for this issue, had hoped to be here but isn't feeling well. And so we definitely miss her here. I know she's eager to watch the recording. And I will say from on behalf of the Yellow Arrow team, there's so much work that the editorial team does under Kapua's guidance to curate and select the pieces for the issue and the order. And this is just such a joy to be able to have everybody come and read your pieces in your own voices. And it's one of our favorite things. So really excited to have all of you. Um, I will, since we're missing Heather here, I just want to kind of share what she shared in her blog post about this issue. It explores the interplay between curiosity and creativity and how it informs discovery in the personal creative process and encourages artistry and fulfillment for women identifying writers. And Heather said about this work and the cover, their rich interiorities surface. Each intriguing piece sings with the strength of voice, and the whole is a brilliant chorus. So with that, we're going to go right into our reading. So each contributor is welcome to introduce themselves and speak a little bit about the piece before going through and reading or talking about the inspiration behind it. So first we have Anita Grace Brown.
Hi, I'm Anita. I'm in South Jersey. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Um, so it's just a pretty incredible story of how I found my way to you all. My friend Kelly is on here tonight. Hi, Kelly. She is in Baltimore, and I met her in New York City in the fall. And she just reached out to me one day and she said she was submitting to Yellow Arrow Journal and that I should submit not writing, but art. And I just decided to take a chance. And the piece that I had created like the day before, I decided, well, let's send this along. And so it's Twin Heathers. Um, I had seen the show Heathers on Broadway the week before, and it's based on that dark movie about suicide and bullying and the teen years, which are, so difficult for most of us. And art and writing and all things creative are just so redemptive. So seeing that play, making colorful art, and then submitting it and trusting the process, and then getting chosen. And I had a couple people along the way say to me, I know you're going to get picked. And I just thought to myself, what a funny thing to say. Um, I don't have any art anywhere else that, it's like this is new and exciting. I have art around my house and I give it as gifts. But to be on the cover is just such an honor and a thrill.
Well, thank you so much. That's such a great background story to hear. And we're always in need of cover art submissions, so spread the word with all of your artist community. And this issue, I think you're probably aware, we did sort of a brand refresh of the cover format. So this is really the first piece of art in that new format
Oh,
that we'll have
wow.
going forward, which is cool.
Mhm.
Great. Let's see. Our first then reader is Erica Monique Graham. Actually,
Yes, good evening.
there she is. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me to this event. Um, I'm a young African American writer from Baltimore, Maryland, and I just love to journal. I just love to creatively write. And the title of my creative nonfiction piece is Dandelions. And I would like to read just a few lines from my piece. After a long, tiresome, cold winter, I look forward to a rainy afternoon at home, writing at my kitchen table in Baltimore. I wonder if the dandelions will bloom early this May. Oftentimes I worry daydream, feel a little bit down, and wonder what to write about in a keepsake journal. The floral pattern tea kettle whistles on my gas stove, its sound blending with the rain tapping against the roof. I am emotionally disturbed by the rattling chaos in my small kitchen. I often wonder about the history of my old home and the things that settle in it. And that's just a few pieces from my creative nonfiction piece titled Dandelions.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Our next reader is Samantha J. Pomerantz.
Hi, everyone. I'm Samantha. I am a writer based in Maryland. I was an intern with Yellow Arrow a few years back, and I am so honored to be back with the community tonight as a writer and to read you this poem. It's on page I, if anyone is following along. It's called A Close and Ugly Thing. This will be my way in, a pipe of poison ivy running up the base of the oak tree, thick as a garden snake. I approach the hairy flesh like it's my own raw edges searching for light. The descending sun holds me wider. Frost permeates my fingertips as I peer at the gnarled, solicitous thing, the multitudinous branches holding close. I admire the noble tenacity of living. Nothing in stillness asks to be any different than it is. We write it wrong. Bruised as the night in college, I stood marauding silence at the train tracks until the freight car bellowed by. I opened like a cavity, screamed and screamed, letting fear turn to spit. I touched the tough oak hide, let it show me there is nowhere to be outside of myself. I am safe in the cocoon I've grown from my own sweet skin, carrying scars like a thrash of poison ivy, a gripping underbelly I've long avoided. I see myself reflected in ivy clinging to oak, asking for closeness, for hope.
A lovely reading. Thank you. It's so good to see you again. Our next reader is Katherine Gotthardt.
Good evening. I was so excited to be part of this journal. The whole theme of wonder, as soon as I saw it, I thought Mary Oliver, who is one of my inspirations. So without further ado, I'm going to read my piece, Sabbath Keeping. Open window, and the dogwood did not lose its flowers in spite of the week-long rain. A giant of an ebony bird sits on the tip of persistence, petals by her feet, as if this hush of a Sunday morning were paying tribute to her. I wish I knew how she learned balance, instinct to adhere to creation's frail twigs, chest out, one eye fixed on an invisible heaven, the other on her surroundings, all on a narrow branch so towering you'd think the detail of wing and beak would somehow be diminished. No. Instead, she draws her own profile against the sky, puffs her throat and sings from gravitational memory, a spiritus mundi rewriting verse, revising the world without falling. Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Our next reader is Diane Wilbon Parks. Diane.
Thank you so much. I am so excited about being a part of this particular issue. And because the wonderment of considering and mocking or burlesquing a bird, because I think most of us can, um, I guess, agree when your schedules are so overwhelming. It's just very hard to balance. So this is really what this poem is about, is just being overwhelmed. And the title is I Am the Only One Who Carries the Umbrellas. Today I surrender. Tomorrow will be a truce. I wait for day's end when blue skies switch to black. I surrender the purple swirls, the opulence a country swears it brings. I come with nothing, I take nothing. Today I am from nowhere. I own only one thought, to burlesque a bird, to take the feed of robins, to fill a future, to use their beady eyes to watch, to unclaw a prey, perch a bench, flap a wind, unswallow worries, keep the sky, take deep breaths, and when the air consents, follow a wing until it fades to blue. Tomorrow, my head will have had time to unravel long enough to release a bird song, to empty the unbalanced and the lakes that puddle here. My buckets are full. My swallow is full. I am the only one who carries the umbrellas, who holds the country at her breast. The cities will sleep soundly tonight. I will wave the white flag even before a truce, before the bird calls, before my cup overflows again.
Thank you so much. Lovely. Our next reader is Lynda Madison. Lynda?
Hi, I'm excited to be here and meet all of you whose wonderful works are in this journal. I'm a clinical psychologist. I was in practice. I've since retired, but I'm a naturalist and an adventurer. I spend lots of my time outside and currently working to revitalize a woodland and prairie area that was turned commercial. And so I resonate with what with what Diane Parks was just saying about overwhelm and how we all might feel that way. And I thought Wonder was the perfect place to send this. Outside is where I'm happiest in nature, and I think the answers are there. So my piece is Naming the River. I stand on a ledge by the Lethe, the river of forgetting. Leave behind voices that tell me someone needs me, that I must do something. Long lists on the table. The only sounds here, mockingbirds, woodpeckers, flickers in trees, the distant highway from which I have come. An old growth tree lies across the river, downed by erosion and wind. It hangs a few feet from the water, the crooks of its branches jammed with wet leaves, troubles held onto, stuck in its cracks. At the Lethe, the past can be erased, existence made simple, the mind washed away. But from the water's edge, I see sprats skirting pebbles that shimmer with light, the shadow of a frond gliding with the river's flow. Remember the babbling brook of my childhood, catching crawfish with my brother in a stream, our mother calling us to dinner, so many lessons to be learned. How we laughed and tarried, like the children who climb on my knee back home, pushing their soft heads into the crook of my neck. I note that a few green leaves have survived on the tree, hold fast to its limbs. A few twigs rise like saplings from its roots. I rename this river Nesemene, mother of muses. Stay to watch pollywogs dive, surface, their nascent legs, minnows that know only this world, the erratic dance of water spiders.
Thank you so much. Okay, next up is Amelia Napiorkowski.
That was great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I saw the wonder theme and I was really intrigued by exploring snippets of dreams that have made regular appearances or visits in my life. And I wrote this poem to convey a sort of in and out of consciousness state, focusing more on feeling of the experience over something tangible. piece is called In My Dreams. I was once a small, scared child on a raft in the Black Sea. The red beans weren't sweet when I bit both sides of my tongue, muscle ballooning in my mouth. I was a flashing light on top of a tow truck with a family inside. Want to do something? Want to get out of here? Window wasted on excuses. I was a single droplet of water in the cat fountain, sputtering. It's just a poem I wrote. Don't take it too seriously. Except maybe it's the realest I ever am. It is what it is, see? Take me or leave me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And our next reader is Cheryl Martone. Oh, Cheryl, you're on mute.
You got it.
All right. I'm so sorry. I was completely frozen out. I've had some technical difficulties tonight, and I apologize for that. Okay, so maybe I'll just get right to it for my place here in Rhode Island. And I do want to thank Yellow Arrow Journal, though, for the theme of this issue, though. It was really wonderful writing to such a beautiful prompt. Okay, and the name of the poem is Puzzle. I see how quickly I'm losing sight of the big life I wish to make. Stray jigsaw shapes strewn on a table. No Kodak picture of Alps or animals to guide each step, like a Sherpa helping me summit to a panorama I thought I'd find, just waiting for me to arrive. Rummaging through irregular pieces, I scan edges, search for ones meant to connect, like snap-fit joints, or grandkids' Lego bricks, or words and images my mind pulls into poems, but less precisely. As a child, I drew and cut my own bright scenes with markers and safety scissors, bits of scattered forest, sawtooth peaks I could cut and smooth with colorful lines, then put together to make a whole. Now it's the pieces themselves, accepting what won't fit, the leaning in and listening for music that opens doors, invites us to step outside. Say more. Love you. Why not? Yes, and. Choosing a simple phrase short on syllables isn't a shortcut. And after a muddy season, sometimes I forget the way the bruise-hued leaves of the jacaranda return, lace the space between our eyes and sky. And isn't it stunning? All the possibilities in small utterances we're afraid to voice. All the fear of never finding what lives within our own what if.
Wonderful reading. Thank you, Cheryl. All right, our next reader is Rebecca Adelman.
Hey everyone, I'm joining from Central Maryland, Howard County. I'm so glad to be here. I was really inspired by what Anita shared about this being her first art in the world. This is my first creative piece in the world, so it feels like something. And I was thinking about a very specific time in my life or season when I'd be sitting in my office and I'd hear these clicking noises. And I was thinking about a recording I'd heard of rhubarb growing, which if you've ever, it's this sort of bonkers soundscape of plants, the noises they make overnight when there's not humans around to disturb them. And I had this sort of fancy that maybe that's what I was hearing in my office, and then returned to earth. And so that's probably not what it is, but I liked that possibility that there was this sort of whole life and language happening in my environment where otherwise like pretty mundane things like work happen. So click. I am waiting to be astonished. Sometimes I am convinced I can hear my indoor plants growing, but it always turns out to be the clicking of some mechanical this or that, or the house tucking into its joists. I wonder if they want more music, different music, or no music at all, but I am too old for science fairs. I do talk to myself often in their photosynthesizing earshot, the voluble empress of their atmosphere. I trust they appreciate the carbon dioxide, if not the company, and hypothesize further that their green reflects the color, the very specific wavelength of all those little secrets broadcast in rough draft. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca. All right, our next reader is Bethany Tap.
Hi, everybody. This is actually my third issue that I've contributed to Yellow Arrow Journal. I love everything you guys do. I always find the themes so inspiring. This poem is, as most of my writing is, about being a parent. So it's called All the Wonderful Ways I Have Failed You. All the wonderful ways I have failed you cannot be counted. Like stars, they blink and shine. A memory of a memory, long gone, perhaps, but still here. I spent my teenage years trying to haul up the iceberg of resentment I'd built toward my own parents. So when that time comes, I swear to wade in alongside you. I'll help you tug and pull and scream because I remember what it feels like to be enthralled to your hormones, your memories, every ancient wrong, a scar that throbs back to life in the cold or after you clumsy bang it on a counter. When I wonder who you will become, my mind splits apart, past fusing with present with future. We are nothing without our history, and that history stretches beyond ourselves. If I yanked your hair once in anger, was it because my mother did the same to me and hers to her and back until we were single-celled prokaryotes, joining together, then splitting into promise and pain? All I can say is I am sorry. All I can do is stand beside you and wail and rage against this life and then, after, pull you close because you're right. It's not fair. I'm not fair, but I love you. I love you, and I'll do better. I promise. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't think I saw Carson join, but I just want to pause for a second in case possibly they're here on a different account. Is with us? No? Okay. So we have two more readers. So we'll move along, and if Oot's able to join, we can add them in. But our next reader is Emily Patterson.
Hi, thank you. I'm Emily. I'm calling in from Columbus, Ohio. This is my first time being published in Yellow Arrow, and I'm so excited to be part of it. I'm a fan of Heather's work as well. And like so many of you have said, the word wonder definitely spoke to and inspired me. And I think it's an ongoing theme in my work, especially. I also write a lot about parenting, Bethany, and I think sort of viewing things from my almost 6-year-old's eyes, there's a lot of wonder to be beheld there. So my poem is called Epiphany Season, and just a little on the title, in the Episcopal faith tradition and other liturgical traditions, Epiphany season starts 12 days after Christmas. So it's in the winter time. But I've just sort of always loved thinking about that title of Epiphany season and in how kind of related in poetry we sort of go about that meaning making experience. So that's where this poem started, with that. And of course, my daughter. Epiphany season. My daughter's ice blue tutu bobs at the back of the sanctuary, crisscrossing navy curves of the labyrinth, salt-stamped and puddled with meltwater. Outside the many windows, snow scraped into piles, anointed with sediment. All these markers of a season both singular and cyclical, ornaments tucked into worn tissue, berry red softened to pink. 3 wise figurines returned to their cardboard box. My daughter skips to the altar, hands cupped, humming her own hymn. I follow her path, begin to trace its spirals, to wonder what it would be like to move without worrying myself toward a center, to arrive bearing only gentleness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Okay, and we're on to our final reader. So Tanya Young is going to close us out.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. I'm retired in Sarasota, Florida, but most of my life was spent on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, within a stone's throw of the Atlantic Ocean, which was indeed a place of wonder. And so my poem is titled, Why I Became an Earth Dweller. Because as a child, I woke at dawn, quietly slipped barefoot to the nearby dunes, soft salt on my lips and my hair, sticking to my face. Because I sculpt a place to lie down, to elope with the earth, who has always known what love is and held me. Because the wild beaches spoke everything, that's how they claim me, again and again and again. Because in a square of pink light, bleeding to orange, I laid both hands on the sand, then raised my right one, returning all my stories to earth. Testify, testify, testify. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and everyone for those beautiful readings. We love seeing the way that the themes are interpreted when we put them out there. Obviously, our guest editors always have a vision about it, and the team all kind of weighs in on what we're looking for. But we can never sort of predict how folks take the theme and make it their own. And just love to see how the pieces end up speaking to one another. And I think nothing demonstrates that more than having all of the collective voices reading them in one event. So thank you. I'm just going to drop some links in the chat because we do have some submissions windows opening. Sorry. We have submissions open right now for Yellow Arrow Vignette on the theme Luminate. So for all the writer friends that are in and around the Baltimore area, that's the one online version that we do that is specific to Baltimore. And then we also have chapbook submissions open. So if you're working on a collection, you have a finished collection, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. But yeah, those are our open submissions opportunities. And the links are in the chat. But thank you all so much, and we'll share this recording as soon as it's available. Have a lovely evening.